Hello, everybody. Hi, I'm Josh Keegan, and welcome to the Space Down Under Live. In this episode of the live stream, I will be joined by Tracy Thompson, the chair of the Open University Space Society. Remember that the chat screen, that's right, that's right. Remember the chat screen is open where you can actually ask questions during the live stream, and I'll be asking Tracy those questions directly. Remember, now's the time to grab a cup of coffee or at least your favorite beverage. Let's get started. Remember, this is going to be very entertaining. Before we get into it too far, I'm actually going to do a little bit of introduction on Tracy. So Tracy is the current current Open University student studying astronomy and planetary science. She's the chair of the OU Space Society. Her day job, she has one, like all of us, is in plastics engineering. What's plastics engineering? Anyway, we'll ask that. And her other interests include fusion energy, forensic science, and / criminology. So, welcome Tracy to the Space Down Under Live! Yeah, I've got my important cup of coffee as well. You know, the important one that actually has reset on the other side. So yes, so yes, a little bit of self promo there. There's nothing like it. Yes, look, I'll apologise in advance that for Tracy's black line down the middle of the screen. She has supposed to be getting a new camera, but you know, last time I talked to her about that, she still hasn't replaced it. But anyway, there you go. So the yeah, so yeah, I'm trying to. I've got my little tools ready, and I'm ready to build a bridge and get over it. Yeah, so Tracy and I know each other as I actually did a talk on all things spacey down under in December 2021, giving insights into the Australian space industry for the OU Society members. And for the life of me, Trace, sorry, I hope you don't mind me calling you Trace, because tough. If you do. Oh, true, true. Do you remember how we met? Because I have no idea. I can't remember at all. Ah, oh, we've got
And
no
yeah,
sound from
years
you.
ago, wasn't
Hang
it?
on, stop. We're gonna have to reverse our way back. There's no sound from Tracy. I do apologize to everyone. Let's do this again, and let's rewind a little bit. So I'll go. Welcome, Tracy. It's great to have you on the Space Down Under live. Oh my god.
Can you hear me now?
I'm pretty sure that everyone can. Oh dear. Oh no. I'm
Why could you
so
not hear me before? I
because
didn't
I
press
had
anything.
I had you on mute. There's a special mute button that I've
Ah,
got for my guests, just in case they get a little bit mouthy, or you know, they might breathe too heavy in the background.
I'm gonna do it now. No, I won't do that. You started already, Josh. We do apologise, everybody. We are professional-ish.
Oh, I thought I had all this sort of stuff, all this stuff sorted, and apparently I just don't. Yeah.
So basically, you just saw my mouth go blah 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 blah
Yeah,
blah.
blah 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 blah
Okay.
blah blah blah. So yeah, all right. So
So
I'll go
how
back.
did? Okay, you go back.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go back because everybody can hear me, which is the most important part, and they just couldn't hear you. Yeah, so look, I'll just say Tracy and I know each other as we did talk for all things spacey down under in December, which I reflected on before, giving insights into the Australian space industry for the OU Society members. You know, and I was just going to ask the question, and I'll ask it again as I did before, and I apologise for everyone who's heard this before. Deja vu, really. Do you remember how we met? Because I really don't.
Unfor- Unfortunately, I do. Yeah. Yeah, it's through Twitter. the Twitter space community is amazing. So if you are on social medias and you're not on Twitter, I would suggest taking a little look at it, because you can connect with a lot of agencies and companies, people like Josh, myself, and you can make a lot of friends. And I've actually got a lot of real life friends who I met on Twitter, who then became real life friends. So yeah, it's a great place for all getting all geeky and spacey together. So definitely go on Twitter.
Yeah,
And then meet Josh.
yeah, meet me because I'm charming, and I do my live stream so professionally too. Oh, anyway, all right. So, moving right along. Look, I do consider us mates, and
Yeah.
we have been mates for a while now. Even though I don't remember how we met. Yes, I have met quite a few people on Twitter, and I consider them friends as well. There's Mark Steven, who's actually in the chat there, and then there's Jim Cleland, and then there's Corinna. I actually consider them friends, and they're sitting in the chat. And then there's Lonely Interstellar, which is Aritra, who's in India. So yes, I have a bit of a global audience going on here. And then I have Ritra's chemistry teacher. But there's various people who've actually tuned in and made some comments on videos and stuff like that. So guys, as you already know, the chat is open. That way, it will be in there in a minute, and you will get a chance to ask your questions, and as I'll be coming back to those in a minute, because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to reflect for a second on the Australia UK space bridge. So in February 2021, the Australian and UK governments signed an agreement. The Space Bridge Framework Arrangement was signed at the British High Commission in Canberra, Australia, and at Westminster in London, in the United Kingdom. So, and as you can see there, it was done during the pandemic, so that's why everybody is dialing in remotely there. The agreement was for closer collaboration between the UK Space Agency and the Australian Space Agency, whilst allowing for government-to-government collaboration between Australia and the UK governments on space programs and technology, trade and investment, including commercial contracts and collaboration, research and education, and funnily enough and weirdly, launch. Whoops. Oh, I've managed to go one too far. You've gone too far. You've gone too far. Hang on. What happened to my... Oh, it's not going to come up at all. Oh. Anyway, you'll have to take my word for it. So, look, what happened... Yes, I've muted you so they can't hear you. Haha. Tracy's laughing in the background, so that's awesome. Anyway, so look, what happened was in 2020, I'm going to say it regardless, in 2020, Raptor Aerospace, now known as Gravity Labs, came to Australia to test and qualify their own launch systems and vehicles with a Kestrel series rocket. The Raptor Aerospace is based in Scottow in Enterprise Park in Norfolk, and they brought their rocket to the Funny Farm in Goondiwindi in Queensland, and were the first company to take advantage of the Australian-UK space bridge. They were actually assisted by Black Sky Aerospace, which you guys have heard me talk about before. And the Raptor rocket reached a apogee of around 7.5 kilometers or 24,000 feet, proving the capability of the company, whilst also taking advantage of that new Australia-UK space bridge. Since this launch, everything has gone well for Gravity Labs, and as pictured here, they actually now have a range of higher performance vehicles, and they have an entire fleet, just to let you know. So I'm going to try that again, and I'll come back to you, Trace, and I'll come back to the conversation. So, all right. So, what are your thoughts about the Australia-UK or the UK-Australia space bridge?
Am I unmuted, Josh?
No, yes, you are.
Perfect. Okay.
I'm just going to a little bit.
I was going to say, my only disappointment is that it's not an actual real bridge, because that would be amazing, wouldn't it?
That would be weird.
It would be great though. Would you walk across it? But, yeah, I think it's an amazing thing. Collaboration is never a bad thing. There's so many things. So you're sharing the positives and the negatives. I think a lot of people find that sharing failures is a bad thing, but actually you learn far more from a failure than you will at success. If you launch a rocket, it goes up, it works fine, yep, sorted, I'm not going to change anything. But actually a lot of innovation comes from making mistakes and learning from it, finding ways to do things better. So from my point of view, I can't see a negative in it. Also, the fact that we're sharing our technologies, our experiences, but we're also sharing funding. So, for example, instead of having to put a certain percentage of your funding into one area,
Yeah.
we can kind of spread that cost. So, Australia, okay, you look at this fuel technology, or we'll look at this, and then we'll come together and share it after. So, I can't see that it's a bad thing, and also it's going to strengthen ourselves. As the UK government did point out, they actually expressed it as space bridge across the world will help UK and Australia get ahead in global space race. Is there still a space race? I thought that ended, but
Oh, look, I think it's the commercial space race more than anything else. The space 2.0 or 2.3 or 3.2 or 4.0 or whatever it is. Yeah, it's a commercial space race,
yeah.
where it's actually commercial companies going into low Earth orbit, which is always a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. And I think also as well, you're having the opportunities to share your experiences with students, which, as an Open University student myself, it's great that students can share and, network with their knowledge. And as a country that doesn't yet have launch facilities, although we do have oh, Josh, help me out, Spaceport Cornwall. Hoping
You
to
live
launch this
there.
year. I know. Although it's not actually going to be a vertical launch, so there's this question of
Oh,
like, is it a launch? Isn't it a launch?
all
Some
right.
people are like, unless it goes straight up, it's not a rocket launch.
Yeah, true.
But then you do have the work happening in Australia, in Scotland. I know that land has been looked at for particular sites for launches. Funding has been given to put amenities in and stuff. So yeah, I can't see that. I can't see it's a bad thing, really.
Yeah, neither can I. We've actually got a question from someone in the chat in regard to this. It's Jim. G'day, Jim, or morning, Jim.
Hi, Jim.
Apparently, he's joined us with a cup of tea in hand. So, join the club. Thanks for joining the club, mate. Jim has said, "Good morning, Josh and Tracy. Do you think the Australian government and the UK government will make success of the bridge, or are we going to go down another ELDO route?" I
think,
know, same here.
yeah,
Big question.
it
Well
is a
done,
big
Jim.
question. Thanks. I'm going to unfollow you and block you on Twitter now. Although we WhatsApp, so I'm just going to block you full stop. Yeah, I think, look, coming out of a pandemic, this was signed in a really weird time. And I think as we're still coming out of it, we're yet to kind of find our feet in. It's one thing to have Zooms and share information about companies and the work you've done, but it's actually very different to be on site and see what's offered. So
Absolutely.
until we can kind of get in the same room together and have these conversations about what can be shared, what facilities you have, what we have, how can we work that, I think we're yet to know.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's for what I saw is like I'll just go back one screen or one or two screens here. That look, what I saw here was this is the Raptor Aerospace, which is now Gravity Labs Aerospace, and they came to Queensland to actually launch their rocket, which the one I said before reached 7.5 kilometers or 24,000 feet, and that was assisted by Black Sky Aerospace, and that was well before the framework was actually signed. And so I believe that Black Sky Aerospace may have actually had something to do with the initial establishment of that space bridge. So, so yes, apart from this, like you said, so rightly so, is that I haven't seen anything since this. So. Here in Australia, well, there hasn't been much visibility in terms of that. In terms of what Black Sky Aerospace has been doing, is that they've also done their own launch here in Western Queensland as well. They did that last year. There was one grainy photo that was released in regard to that, and that grainy photo was simply because the article that went along with it was that it was a successful test, and now it's becoming a missile engine. So, which means there's overarching military in there somewhere. So I'm sure that Black Sky Aerospace, with creating the space bridge or helping to assist to create the space bridge, is still ready and waiting, but for companies from the UK to come across. But again, it's just the pandemic and getting back to more or less a sense of the new normal and whether or not it's viable for UK space companies to actually come out to Australia to launch.
We shall see.
We shall. We shall. We have another question. It's from JM 1644. So I apologize for that. It's for some reason it's come out really really tiny on my screen. That's all right. That's fine. There's a lot of talk of launch, but is that where the UK and Australia should be focusing? There's a lot of new space launch companies, and perhaps we'd be better focusing on other elements. Good point.
Yeah, I think infrastructure wise, I think Australia and geologically wise, where you are on the globe,
Mm,
I think you are better for launch than we are. Although we, as the UK, can kind of go polar to polar launch. So it depends what we're talking about as regards to launch. What are we launching payloads? It certainly won't be people, and if it is, it's going to be a very long time away that we're
mm,
going to be in any ways, sense of thinking about putting humans up. So I think Australia has the better positioning for those launches. It's whether or not what else can we be focusing on.
mm,
There's a lot of satellite technology that we do here in the UK. We do support ESA immensely.
yep.
So Perseverance, there's parts that we've put in there. The OU in itself is actually huge with the amount of work it does. It actually has a Mars lab, like a kind of like Airbus does. It has a rover park type thing, and they
Mm,
test all sorts there. So we have facilities, and we have I think one of the main things that can come out of it for us is the sharing of knowledge between students and younger people coming into the industry and early career students, because like I say, we're not all young, unfortunately for us, Josh. Um, so I think
Shush. Anyway,
I think that's yeah, that this is again part of things we need to work out who's going to be best at doing what as part of this bridge.
yeah, absolutely, without a doubt. Corinna Stanley has also asked a question: Is believe this would be more for me than for you. Would be will we be using our launch facilities, or would we be looking for the customers? So in terms of and this is where my knowledge about the Australian uh, Air Regulation Authority, so that's CASA, that's Civil Aviation and Safety Authority here in Australia. So in terms of when we're looking at Australian airspace, what we're looking at is in terms of air corridors, and all that sort of stuff around Australia. There were quite busy air corridors between Sydney, Melbourne, all that sort of stuff. But generally, towards the centre of Australia, there is little to no air traffic. So what that means is there's an awful lot of nothing in the middle, and that's also there is no built-up areas, there is no assets or infrastructure or anything like that, and if there is, it's widely spaced apart. So when we're talking about launches and then the UK Australia Space Bridge, what it does is by Raptor Aerospace or Gravity Labs coming to Australia, it just meant that they could launch when they felt like. And they might reveal a little bit here, but yes, a recent interview with someone from Southern Launch, shall say, will let you know that yeah, T Space has actually tried to do the same thing in South Australia through Southern Launch, and that's simply because that a Taiwanese rocketry company brought their own rocket here to Australia, just simply to test the first stage of the rocket to make sure it could actually reach low Earth orbit. It didn't work, unfortunately, but what that means is that they could launch whenever they felt like it. From the Whalers Way in South Australia, simply because there is very little or no air traffic above that would impede the launching of a rocket. That's why, in terms of this sort of stuff, it would actually just be really dependent upon what the customer wants in the end. That's simply what it is. But this space bridge, I believe, will actually help to facilitate a lot more of those types of things. All right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was going to say that the only air-free the zones we have over the UK really are Scotland, and we have to face an awful lot of horrible weather up there, so not great for launches. But
No, but we suffer the same thing here in Australia. We get horrible weather as well. So coming back to JM1644, downstream technology. UK is a leader on satellite design, build, and services. The focus on launch feels like PR and the sexy bit, but really it's not what really matters to us. Look. Oh, Ian. Oh, very good. He put his name in. Thank you, Ian, for putting your name in and revealing yourself a little bit there. So thank you for that. Yeah, look, absolutely. The launch is the sexy bit, and we all know it's the sexy bit because what it means is, in terms of PR, yes, absolutely, it's a PR campaign. You have something that's all fire and noise, and basically it launches something into low Earth orbit, and that basically gets a lot of attention, gets a lot of people interested, and gets a lot of people excited. So, and yes, absolutely, without a doubt, that is the PR bit. But in the fundamentally in the background, I know here in Australia, as an example, there are a lot of Australian universities who are working very, very hard on new satellite technology. And actually, there's a company called Fleet Space in South Australia who is actually working on beamforming technology in terms of their nanosats and things like that. So there is the ability and capability that's being built up in behind all the PR that is all the fire and noise. So, Jim is back again. Oops, sorry. Keep going.
no, I was going to say, in response to that question as well, that I was myself at Space Park Leicester just before Christmas, and it's involvement with University of Leicester, which has got a massive space program. They have a huge clean room at Space Park Leicester for satellite building, and it will be something that will be. I mean, they've already got missions involved. So it's just a case of finish building the building and start using it. But what they all did say when we were speaking to them at Space Park Leicester is that they're very good at what they do with their technology, just not good at PR. We're British. We're kind of like, yeah, no, it's fine. We did that, but shh, don't tell anyone. we'll, we'll just put that camera in there. No one will know. It's fine. You know, the work that we're doing with the Mars sample return stuff. You know, it's heavily Airbus. We're working closely with ESA, but would you know that we're doing that? No, NASA. You know, you just don't know that we're doing it. So
Well,
we
that's
need to promote ourselves more.
it's similar to the James Webb Space Telescope in terms of that, which I'm referring to the necklace around your neck. So the nice little segue there. Yes, myself and Aricha did that a big live stream on that last week, and yeah, in terms of that, what you see is more NASA side of things, and when it comes down to it, NASA actually takes a lot of the attention away from the good work that is being done by the ESA, but that's just something that happens. That Americans are really good at PR. Oh, and Jim would like us to know, Tracy, that it's currently very sunny in Scotland. Hang on, did you just look out your window?
Yes, and it's absolutely, I won't swear, but it's absolutely bucketing down and hideously grey. Jim, I don't like you anymore.
That's all right. He's blocked, so it's all good. Look, what I'm going to do is at this particular point in time, I'm going to make a bit of a pivot, and I'm going to ask you some questions specifically about the Open University Space Society. Now, you're the chair of the Open University Space Society. What is it?
What is it? It's fabulous, is what it is. It's well, it is a society, although it's an open, we are the Open University Space Society. We are open to all. So we have official members. Currently, I checked last night, 761 members. Those are official members because to be a member, you have to be affiliated with the OU in some way, postgrad, you know, all that kind of stuff, alumni staff. But we do have many, many more that follow us as well because everything we do is for free and it's all about engaging people. Now, how we came about is a funny story. We were at a conference, UK Says conference, March 2020. I always get dates confused now. Pandemics just made me lose
Yep.
time.
Oh, pretty much. I think that's the same for everybody.
You're like, was that last year or
Yeah,
the
was
year
that
before?
yeah, was that the year before?
Yeah.
Was that 2019? When weren't we wearing masks?
So we were at a conference for it's a UK SEDS, but they have SEDS all over the world.
Mhm.
It's for students interested in space, engineering, technology, that kind of stuff. And we were listening to a talk, and there was a member of the OU there, Dr. Hannah Sargent. She's now in America studying with NASA about doing lunar stuff. So check her out. She's brilliant. There was kind of like cheering throughout the auditorium. We're like, hang on, we're the only OU people here. Why are they cheering for OU? And because I don't know if you yourselves know in Australia, but people kind of don't see the Open University as a university. It's like, do you even have a building that you go to? Well, there's a massive campus. It's almost like a little city within itself. So we were confused about the cheering. And then afterwards, it transpired that there were multiple groups of OU students there, but we didn't know because there was no way of connecting with each other.
Oh, right.
So via Twitter, and I don't know if Ian, who asked the question, is Ian Murhead, who's our original chair. I sent a tweet of the catalogue and my tag, my badge, and everything. He was like, there were OU students there, I didn't know. So we got a little WhatsApp group together, and then Ian kind of mistakenly went, should we start a club? And we're like, okay, yeah, that'll be fun. Yeah, and then here we are 2 years later. We are now a society. We became a society over the summer.
Right.
And it's absolutely amazing. It's basically we do what we do for the love of space and the community and volunteering, and we do everything we do for free. And what we basically do is connect students within the university and outside to different elements of the world out there. The people think that the space industry is quite small. And even in the UK, people think we don't do space. Oh, we do space. We do a lot of space, and that's what we do. We try to connect people and basically, meet up and meet up. We actually are meeting up at our first conference face to face next month, and it is UK SEDS again. So
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Yeah, just to let you know, Ian has also made a comment on the chat that it said it might be. So it
It
could be.
totally is.
Yeah, totally is.
Totally is.
Yeah, that's a dead giveaway. Yeah, similar thing here in Australia with the Open University, because you guys have the Open University, we have the Open Universities, as in plural, as in all of our main universities actually have an Open University component to all of them. They started out by themselves originally, I think. As Open University, is very similar, and then it became the Open Universities as more established, well-established and well-branded universities here in Australia joined the fold. So yeah, there's various universities now offer a lot of their courses online, which was new until 2020. So yeah, I'm not sure how it works now with those types of universities in Australia, but I do know there's a lot of big name Australian universities that are part of it. So with the Open University Space Society, what is it that you guys do exactly? Like, what is it made up of? I know there's a lot of members. I know how you guys form, but and I gave a talk. Do you want to maybe expand on what you guys do and how you do it?
Of course. So we've been limited to online only at the moment because of the pandemic. And our intentions always were to have face-to-face events, but we will always keep an online presence because we're fully aware that as Open University, we have members from all over the world. And we do kind of say to people, where are you logging in from? And they'll be like, oh, Argentina,
Oh,
or,
wow.
here, there. And we're like, oh, I think when I'm talking to people that you're down the road, and then you're like, I forget you're halfway across the world. We have regular talks. So I think the most we did 1 month was 5, and that was a bit like, what are we doing? So we have regular talks from all types of guests, yourself, Josh, telling us all about all things spacey down under, which was really good actually, because I must admit I knew very little about the Australian space
I'm just going to interrupt
industry.
you right there and just let everyone know that that was a working title, people, and I was going to come up with something a little bit more official, but no, apparently that went right through.
Yeah, look, when we say things, we just don't make them up. So I jokingly said we had a mascot, and I jokingly said call it Captain Tardy McTardy face, and no one said no. So
I like how
Cap,
you've got a plushie. That's awesome. A
it's our little
tardigrade plushie.
mascot.
That's awesome.
So we have regular online talks. It goes all over the subject. So you've got law, policy, war in space, we've had talks
Wow.
on, and you've also got the usual thing of kind of like star formation, looking at M-type dwarfs, all this kind of like what you would class as space stuff. But we do delve into more of it, the history, engineering, anything space related. We'll talk about it, and we're happy to discuss. We have live launch parties,
Oh.
so when launches permit, timing permits, we're actually having one this today, 6 o'clock
Ooh, lovely.
tonight. So if people want to join us, I know it's actually 5 o'clock today. Don't come at 6 o'clock; so it'll be finished by then.
And I thought I made all the errors.
No. So we get together as a small group and we all chat and that kind of stuff. But what we also do as well, which is kind of more behind the scenes, we will help students if they want references and understanding about joining particular societies or institutions. We send out information about all the talks that are going on. So it's not just us and promoting ourselves. We promote other, agencies and talks and subjects. But we are planning face-to-face very, very soon. And our first event will be at the UK Space Centre in Leicester, because it's a brilliant venue, but also, we just want to get a feel for people coming along and joining us for days out. But we're also very aware that because we are open university, we are all over the world. We're not going to be able at this moment in time to have everybody together. I mean, even the committee have not been in the same room together at all. So next month.
I think it's interesting that the face-to-face meetings are now based on this, and this alone. It's just pretty much cross your fingers, because just to let you know, and everybody who's around the world who's tuning into the Space Down Under Live, is that in Australia, at least, the mask restrictions are relaxing, and they're starting to relax. People are starting to go back to the office after working from home for almost anywhere up to 2 years, so which is new for a lot of people. You can get a seat on the train, all that sort of stuff. But yes, just to let everyone know, mask restrictions are starting to relax here in Australia, and we're allowed to travel interstate. Our borders are not closed anymore, so we've actually gone over a large hurdle ourselves. So yes, but yeah, again, same thing is that pretty much it's based on that. All right, so Jim has said that what was it? Where is he? I've lost it completely. Oh, he said, Tracy, if I send you something from my collection, can we be friends again?
I know he's got a good collection. I've seen it. I've seen his shelves just like I've seen yours. Yeah, okay, we'll talk offline, Jim.
And Jim also says busted. Sorry, Ian also says busted. Sorry, my apologize. And Corinna has said, isn't it Astro tardigrade now?
Astro tardigrade? No, we still refer to them as captain, because they can be whoever you want them to be. We're very aware that children absolutely love them. Helen, our EDI officer, goes into schools and she gives some lessons at the solar system, that kind of thing. And she will take the captain with her, and everyone's like, "Oh, can I have one?" And we've got stickers and all sorts. But we were at the Space Park Leicester, so we do a little blog now. It's a new thing, so check it out. We do the captain's blog.
Oh, nice.
And we follow them on their adventures. So at Space Park Leicester, I was actually speaking to one of the members there who works. So he's got a lab. He actually has real life tardigrades in his lab. And he went, excuse me, what's that? And I kind of showed him my tardigrade. He went, can I have one, please? I was like, you're going to have to do a talk for us. You just don't get them for free. So everybody loves the tardigrade. And check out Twitter and Insta and everything next month, because they'll be all over UK sets. So yeah. Hashtag I met the captain.
Yeah, and look, I met the captain. So when I get my Captain Tardigrade McTardy face, you're going to send me, aren't you? I'll see if I can get it on the launch. Because Corinna has actually said, maybe have they been to space yet? Oh, there might need to be a test payload that goes up on someone's rocket that I might be able to No, I can't do any of that. Anyway,
We are petitioning. It is our ultimate goal, if nothing else in life, to get the captain into space. We think they would be an amazing, what do they call them? Zero G indicator. Yeah, so
yes.
we're tweeting SpaceX, NASA. I mean, anybody who wants to take the captain into space, you're welcome. We're even hoping that they'll appear on the University Challenge for the
Oh,
Open
nice.
University team. So,
Nice.
yeah.
All right, I've got a very personal question for you,
Oh,
darling.
here we
I
go.
mean, we're gonna delve into it. All right, no. So, look, here's the thing: is that how did you become the head of the society? I mean, was it just the fact that Ian didn't want to do it, or so
Basically.
how did you go from plastics engineer to society chair? What happened? And Ian, yes, you're watching, so what happened?
So plastic engineering is actually really quite interesting. It's
Sure, it is.
basically what day no it is one day at work I can be making, well, not me personally making, but I can be designing and putting together a polycarbonate window for a tank. Polycarbonate windows are used in space, by the way, so
Yeah.
polycarbonate is a great material. I'm sorry, I'm going to lose you on that.
Nice little spruik there. Well done.
It
Do you want
is.
to mention the business name as well while we're at it?
No. It's a small family run business. Please don't overload us because I'll have to do some work. Um, basically, and then another day we'll be doing something for, like say, a boat or a tank, nuclear stuff. You know, we have stuff we can't talk about because you'll lose your job and you'll get shot, kind of stuff. So it actually is really, really
Yeah.
interesting. And it's great because the guys I work with have experience from the engineering side, but I also bring my student experience into. They'll start talking about it. I'm like, oh right, so the molecular structure of this is that, and that's why you can't bond it, and and they're like, yeah, if you say so, Tracy, that's fine. So it's actually very interesting. But yeah, so how it came about. So I've been studying with YoU now for about 4 years. I'm doing part-time. With my full-time job as well, but as being part of what was the space club, I was PR, and I kind of helped with the events, supported Ian as chair doing other stuff. You know, we got a newsletter together, we're doing all this kind of stuff. And I mean, Ian might want to say it in the chat, I don't know, but
Well,
basically he
he's
approached
already
me.
said in the chat that it was a very violent coup. So we all know you're lying.
He did say that. Basically, well, I won't tell you what he called me, but yeah, he used to have this name for me, and it was very apt, to be fair. But basically, I did. Oh God, this sounds awful, but I did a lot for the club, and I also been so passionate about it from day one. And if anybody couldn't do something because of they had life,
Mm.
I'd be like, I'll do it. I don't want to let the students down. I don't want to miss this talk because we can't do this or this. So effectively Ian came to one day and said, look, I'm stepping down and I think you'll be great for the role. And I was like, oh, go on then. Go on then. Yeah.
And how many things have happened throughout history where it's like, oh yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, you think, oh, it won't be that difficult, and then you're like, oh no. But yeah, no, it's an absolutely fabulous role, and I've learned so much. And having, again, this is where being an older student comes into play, because having experience through my, I haven't been a plastics engineer my whole life,
Really,
but
no?
no, I've had loads of different jobs in corporate finance, management, all that kind of stuff.
Mm.
So bringing those experiences to the society has really helped. So it's a wonderful role, and I've learned a lot. So yeah.
Oh, amazing. That's absolutely amazing. That's a really good story. That's a really good story. So, yeah, look, I've got one final question, and there doesn't seem to be anything else apart from Ian still, the chat where Ian has said that there was a very violent coup and he's still traumatized. So I'm hoping someone will actually get rid of that in a second. That's just, it's just hovering there.
Well, he's saying that, but we're actually meeting for the first time next month and spending the
Oh,
day together
nice.
before anyone else comes. So you may never hear from him again.
Yeah.
He'll be in the Thames. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I understand that. I completely understand. So I've got one last question, which is, what do you actually think I'm trying to tie this all together now. What do you think the space bridge will actually mean for the OU Space Society? We talked about it to begin with, that the Australia and the UK, we signed this massive framework agreement. So what do you think this will make any difference, or what do you think this might mean for the OU Space Society specifically?
I think well, we've discussed things privately, which are still going on.
Mm,
But I think it will open doors in that, I mean, you kind of liken the analogy to like a brick wall or something, people want to connect and do something, but you can kind of only push a few bricks at a time. But then the government have come along and went, "Do you know what? Let's just open a doorway." And now people can connect much easier. So I think we can share experiences with our students, students of Australia, perhaps even eventually, maybe swapping and traveling and getting to see what happens in your universities and our university, because, like I say, we do exist. There is a big building. I think this it's going to open opportunities and potentially open careers for students, because I don't know if many of you know, but getting into America and NASA is quite difficult. The UK Space Agency is easier to get into and work for as a UK student,
mm,
but there are very limited roles and number of places for people to go to.
yep.
So I think it's going to open a lot of opportunities for students to travel both ways.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I 100% agree because we've shared Australia and the UK have shared a very similar story on our initial race for space, which is why I'm trying to commemorate that as much as possible with the reset mug. There is a reason for it, is because we actually reached low Earth orbit. We went around the Earth a couple of dozen times, and then that was it. And the UK was supposed to come up and do it themselves not long after us, and you. To realize that that was all horribly crushed and lost in political hyperbole, defunding and arguing and all that sort of stuff. The both of us, we were just so close that it's just really nice to actually have the space bridge set up that we can actually collaborate again to the standard that we had back in 1967, because you guys were out in Woomera in South Australia and you were looking to launch your own rocket. We launched ours. You guys were going to do great things, so were we. It's just it's just where it is, and it's just wonderful to have you guys back in the fold.
Why, thank you, Josh. Thank you for inviting us.
No, yeah, because I did it. I did all the work. That was just me. All right. Look, I'm just going to turn to the chat again for just a second. So if anybody has any more questions, oh no, Ian is saying he's in trouble now. Oh no, Corinna's actually said that Ian needs to run. He's in trouble now, and he might be too ill to make the UK SEDS after all. Apparently.
No, because
Ooh.
no, he's too big to run fast, unfortunately. But I'll catch him. I might be little, but I'll catch him.
All right, that's awesome. All right, well, Tracy, thank you very much for joining me on the Space
Thank
Down Under
you.
Live. It's been absolutely an absolute pleasure. So, just for everyone else who's is staying around, I'd just like to introduce you to something here that I've actually been. But just before I go, I came up with a series of images to celebrate Australia's collaboration with our international space partners, including the UK Space Agency. So, I'd like to introduce to you again. The world is a family, with the Australian and British flags behind the Aussie Naught, and the world is a family. The Aussie Naught is now available at shop.joshkeegan.com, and you can go and pick up your very own there now. And just to let everyone know, and to make it a little bit more transparent, I don't make any money on this, so I couldn't offer a discount. So just to let you know that wasn't actually possible. So look. Thank you very much for joining me. If you want any more information about the Open University Space Society, Tracy, or the talk that I did, I've placed everything in the links in the comments below. Just to let everyone know as well, I'll be taking a small break from the live streams in the next few weeks. This doesn't mean that I'm stopping. It just means there's a backlog of videos that I need to actually finish up and post, including an interview with Lloyd Dant, the CEO of Southern Launch. I actually managed to ask him all about T-Space and their launch. And so that's now public information. That video is now available and live. So if you like this live stream, just remember to head on over to and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And please remember, when subscribing, you hit that notification bell, so every time I upload a video, you know about it. And while you're there is a video. If there's a video you've enjoyed, please make sure you make a comment. This way it lets YouTube know to share my channel with more people. like you, so they can learn more about the Australian space industry and the space down under. Now, thanks very much for watching the Space Down Under. Remember, stay caffeinated. Yeah, you're still here? Lucky you. Look, I just thought I'd let you know. Everything's officially over. I just thought I'd put in a sneaky little bit at the end. I'm taking something from the Marvel movies, but anyway, lucky you. So there are going to be some changes with the Space Down Under, just to improve things how being delivered, which is to you here on YouTube, which is also why I'm actually taking a break from the live streams, because this is actually needed. They're a bit secret at the moment, so I can't really tell you right now the changes that are going to happen. But yeah, there are changes coming to the Space Down Under and the way it's actually delivered to you on YouTube. Also, it might be a good idea for you to keep an eye on my social media to get it so you can actually see what I'm up to in March. Let me just say, at this point, can't really say what it is, but it's going to be amazing. So thanks for sticking in there, guys. I'll see you soon.